So these are our bowling pin birds, and they are adorable. The key to these is the simple shape, the fun colors, and if you look closely, each of them have a pattern. Now, these are just the standard bowling pins because of the colors, the white, and then I went a little whimsical with the colors, but there are many variations that you can do. And at the end of the video, I'll show you a few more. But you don't have to go with the standard white bowling pin. You can use fun colors as well. I'll show you the basic technique, and then you can play and have fun in your own sketchbook. So the first thing you want to do is choose your size bird. And then because you're making it bowling pin shaped, I like to start with the head using just a light pencil stroke here. And I kind of make a circle that doesn't close. And then I create the neck. And then you can vary this however you'd like. You can make a smaller head and a larger body. But this kind of works for me. I really like this little narrow neck. I know I'm making a light sketch. I'll go over it with pen after I complete the sketch. But I want to show you the process of how to draw this bird yourself. And then I choose a direction that the bird is looking. So I think I'll make the wing on the left side here. And I just want that to come down, cutting off about half the body. And you can choose to make it to a point or rounded. I kind of like the rounded for this. And I want it to be a little fatter. So I pull that out away from that body sketch. And then I'll make some legs. I kind of like these long legs. Makes it a little awkward, a little fun. You can make a larger belly. I want this one to be a little narrow. And then I choose the beak. I love them pointed at something. And again, you can make this beak tall or short, stubby, and fat. I like tall and narrow. And instead of just ending at the head, which you can, I like to elongate it a little. And so I curve it around where I'm going to have that eye. And then I like to end, instead of having it perfectly rounded, I like the rest of the head to come away from the end of the beak. So I modify that bowling pin shape through the course of my sketch. Then I make just a simple round eye. And I like big eyes on these birds. And then the iris. I like to have a few toes on the feet. And then with a waterproof marker, where the ink is not going to run when I add watercolor, I'll just sketch over my image, tracing over the lines I want to keep. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So there I have one of my bowling pin birds. I'll erase the pencil marks. And I think I'll do the same process with just a baby bird over here. So after I have my bird, I can decide if I want one ring or two rings around the neck. For the larger one, I think I'm just going to do one ring. And for the juvenile bird, I'll do two. They'll be smaller, kind of in proportion to the bird. And I'll outline those as well. Again, all the outlining is completely optional. I think it shows up nicely on camera, and so I like to do it that way. But I think it also looks great in a journal with the outlines. So I have my drawing. I'll start with the larger bird and I'll make him a traditional bowling pin. So I'm just going to use some clear water just on the body part. It's not the ring here, not the beak. And I want a little shadow because I want him to look white. So I'm going to mix some of this cerulean blue on my palette. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this violet and mix it in so I have a cool color. Then I'll put a little swatch over here because I want very light blue, and I'll mix it with water. So now I have a very diluted color, and I'm just going to brush along certain parts here just to give a little dimension. So right on the edge, underneath the wing, maybe slightly underneath the ring here, beak, maybe the eye. Then I'll rinse my brush so it's clear. Just blend out those edges. I want the edges to be completely disappearing. It's just a hint of a shadow. We'll come back and add another layer of shadow once that layer dries. So now let's work on the beak. With a clean brush, I'm going to wet the beak, and I'm going to choose this lemon yellow. It's a cool yellow. And I'm going to just paint the entire beak. And I know these colors are going to dry lighter. So once they dry, I can choose to come back in and add more color. But I want a little variation. So I'll take a little orange on my brush. And just at the tip, I'm going to add a little bit of orange and let those colors blend. And clean it up a little. Just see what happens. Now for the baby bird. I'm going to paint the baby bird a little pink. So I'll brush the entire body. And I'll mix my pink here, a little carmine red. Clean my brush, and I'm going to take a little cerulean blue and mix it in with that. Changes the carmine red a little bit. And so it's a little more pink. Add a little water to that. And now I'm going to paint my bird. I'm going to paint the entire body. You can leave some spots of white. And because we painted that first layer with clear water, the color will blend and move on its own, do its own thing, which is nice. Come back in here. And before it dries, I'm going to pick up a little more of that color and just put it on the areas where I put the shadow on the adult bird. And we know it's going to dry lighter, so I don't hesitate to go back in. I'll do the beak in the same process, where I wet the beak. Switch to a smaller brush, my number 1 brush. Take some of that lemon yellow. Fill in all that area. And then clean my brush. Pick up that orange, add that to the tip of the beak. This is a good spot to just let everything dry. While this is drying, I'll change my water so that it's nice and clean for the next layer. So now that my piece is dry, I can analyze what's happening here. I want a little more vibrancy in that beak, so I'll start at the top with my lemon yellow, and I'll use my smaller brush here so I can control it a little better. I'll add a glaze layer all over the beak. I like how that's looking, and I'll do the same thing that I did before to make that tip a little more vibrant. So over that glaze layer, I'll add some of the orange. I like the baby bird. I might just clean up a little bit more on the beak. But I think it came out well. So you could stop here on the big bird if you like the shadow just as it is, but I want to add another layer, introduce just a little more vibrancy to that shadow. My number 6 brush, I'll go back in with that color that we created, make it a little deeper, and just on some of the area that I created the shadow, I'll continue to add just a little bit of color. I'm not going over the entire area, just a small portion of it. Rinsing my brush again, and with a clean, wet brush, I'll just blend out some of those edges. It just increases the intensity of color, which I like. And then because I can see some of the first layer peeking through, it's a nice little blend. Go in with some clear water until I'm happy with how that blend looks. Maybe come back in, stab a little bit pigment. Now on my little bird, I'm going to start with the collar here. I think I'm just going to go monotone. So I'll take that carmine red, mix it with a color I already mixed for the bird, and just paint that little stripe. And I like to paint just the edges, maybe a quarter of the way. Such a nice vibrant color. Dip my brush in a little water so it's still pink and have it blend out. And now working on that little bird, and I'll zoom in here. I want to create some more layers, some more patterns. And I like the simple patterns. I like stripes, squiggly lines, and circles. So for this one, I'm just going to make a circle, take it slow, and it's going to be a half circle as if it's coming off the wing. And I will outline it with another circle, using that same color I used for the stripe. And I'll just add a few of these around the bird. And going underneath the wing, I want to bring my circle right up to that wing. Maybe I'll do one over here. Just that full circle so we know what it's supposed to look like. And I like that. You can add additional shapes. You can go over your pattern again if you want a little more vibrancy. I like it to be somewhat subtle. I'll rinse my brush and I'll take some dark color, either navy blue or even the black, and I'll just fill in that eyeball. And I like to leave a little blank, a little bit of the paper showing. While I have the black on my brush, I'll do the same thing with the adult bird. I can zoom out. I'm going to switch to my 6 brush, and on the bird here, I'm going to use clear water, fill in that little ring, and then choose a color. I think I'll use green for the adult bird here. So I'll come in here, create that ring. I like my most vibrant part of that ring to be on the exterior here. So I get that nice and deeply colored. Rinse off my brush and just get those colors to connect. So now you can stop here, or you can add patterns on your bird, your bowling pin bird. I think I'm going to stop here. It would be the same process with this, but I just like the way it looks like a bowling pin. And I just think it's really a cute procedure. To finish this painting though, I want to have a little fun with it. So I'm going to take my number 6 brush. I'm going to take some of this green on my palette with a little bit of this darker green. Add some water, and I'm just going to make it that the birds are standing just on a little mound of grass. So I create my shape with my brush, dip it in water, have it flow. I don't like going to the edge of the paper, just very close to it, leaving a little gap. Then I'm going to run my brush in that pigment again, create just some organic shapes. I don't like it to be perfectly even and rounded. I like some of that shape here. And I'll go in with the darker color and just bring it to the edge and let that color blend out. Now you can color in the legs if you want. Sometimes I like to add a little yellow. This time I'll take a little of the warmer yellow, so the yellow orange, and I'll just go over the legs to the feet. Now I like to have them looking at something, and usually it's just a little thing, a butterfly or a bee or a dragonfly. So I'll create just a little body and some wings. But what I like is to have a little trail of where that bee or butterfly has been or is going. So I make the sketch and I'll go in with my marker and just create that. Make the little body, hint of wings. I can erase any extra pencil marks. I like to add just a little touch of color to the bee. And then for the sky, I'm going to do something very simple. Wet my brush, wet the paper. And then for the blue sky, I want it to be a different shade of blue than we had over here for the shadow. So I'll take this cerulean blue and just water it down. And then I'll just put a little bit here and there. Usually darker up top, the higher it goes. And with my brush, I'll just dilute the color with whatever's on my brush and more water, and then continue to dilute it until it blends completely out. And because I want it to be soft, I'll just take a paper towel and just blot it out some places. I'm not really making clouds, I'm just picking up some of the pigment. And there I have a bowling pin bird and a little baby bird. Now let me show you some quick variations that you can do just by changing the colors and the patterns and the size of the bird. So you can make a flock of bowling pin birds in all different colors. Here I have butterflies in the sky. You can create just some birds, random, various sizes, and these are all chasing butterflies. So for this, I chose not to do a pattern on the center bird, but I have patterns on the birds on the bookends here. Same grass. I didn't color in the legs. I wanted just the bird to stand out. I like that open space in this particular painting. Here's a painting of bowling pin birds just with bright colors, the same procedure. Here I went a little more vibrant on the colors, but I have the patterns of the same color that I chose for the background. I painted the legs, and I have a nice gradient in the sky to the land with white over here and color up top and on bottom. I think it frames the little bowling pin birds. I have some more simple bowling pin birds without any background, just the birds. And then I have a fun one here. I made the bowling pin bird, and the pattern was just the tip of my brush in various colors. And another simple one here. A little lacy, a little more feminine. I think it's a really cute effect. And of course, we have the one we did today in the lesson. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And thanks for joining me.